We start at 5 with the wildfire burning west of Loveland in Larimer County that's forced a couple thousand people from their homes tonight. It's closed a 9-mile stretch of Highway 34. It sparked this morning, and by noon it was over 250 acres in size, currently listed as 365 acres big.
Well, you can see the smoke, huge plumes of smoke into the air that could be seen for miles from Boulder to Fort Collins. And you can see this from our Bow Mountain camera right there. We know evacuation notices were sent to 2,600 phones. We don't know how many homes that is. We also know there's no containment. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kim Christensen.
And I'm Tom Green. We've mentioned the fire west of Loveland. It's only a few miles west of town. It sits just to the north of Highway 34.
We've got team coverage of the fire, many evacuations, and the heat and the dry conditions. That's just fueling the flames as well. We're going to start with our Steve Stager. Steve?
Kim, we're looking at the same vantage point we had throughout the afternoon right here at Highway 34 and County Road 29, where that roadblock starts. And the fire that looked smaller about 2 hours ago has just kind of expanded along the ridgeline. And just within the last 15-20 minutes, we've seen a lot of active fire just up there to the north along the ridge as this fire continues to kind of crawl through timber, brush, a little bit of dry grasses up there. We had to go inside a little bit to Sylvandale Ranch, where we actually got to meet with first responders. They are staged there because those are the closest structures to this fire. It's about a mile and a half away from where that fire is burning. We were able to see the kind of presence they have there, ready to go in and act in case something happens, because for now this firefight is mostly in the air. We're told by the Larimer County Sheriff they have about 10 aircraft that are battling this fire right now, helicopters and planes that are dropping retardant. It is a massive firefight in a time when there aren't a lot of resources available with all the fires burning across the country.
The fire burned through there pretty clean and took out all the trees, so it was burning pretty hot, pretty intense, and that's why we didn't put anybody on it initially, and that's why we focused on the homes, just because of the fire behavior we're experiencing. It's not something that we want to put crews up into till it dies down a little bit.
You mentioned the 2,600 contacts. Those are people who opted into an emergency alert who are in that area. Now, those are only contacts. And I asked if they have a way to know how many people are in that actual evacuation zone. What's the population? They said that that's something they're working on right now, because they have to put that number together as they're going to try to get some more resources in from other agencies around the country to try to fight this fire. But as of now, all we know is that 2,600 phones received that message. You think about if you live up in this area, you want any warning you could possibly get. There are likely a few homes that have multiple phones signed up for this service. So they're going to work throughout the night. They'll have crews here to kind of monitor. They're going to protect the structures that are around the outside. Thus far, we haven't heard of any structures burning in this fire, which is wild to think when you look at the size of that fire behind me and how black that smoke is and how much it's been burning. We're live in Larimer County. Steve Stager, 9 News.
Thank you, Steve.
So when you talk about those 2,600 contacts, the red area you see here is the evacuation map for mandatory evacuations. People from Drake to the dam store along Highway 34, including Storm Mountain and Palisade Mountain, need to be out of their houses now.
All of the areas in red have been under that mandatory evacuation. They're telling people in the yellow areas to gather their belongings and be prepared to leave. Kevin Vaughn has talked to evacuees, and he continues our live team coverage right now. Kevin?
Kim and Tom, we're here at Namaqua Elementary School on the southwest side of Loveland. We're a couple of miles from the smoke plume. I can tell you that just in the last 15 or 20 minutes, the winds have been swirling where we are, and even were coming out of the east for a few minutes. This school has been used as an evacuation center this afternoon. There were about 40 people that came in here during the afternoon. It is now being closed down. The Red Cross is moving them to a church, Foundations Church in central Loveland, where they will have amenities to keep them for the night. We asked the Red Cross if they had any sense of how many people might need shelter tonight or need services. They don't know, but they said whatever the number ends up being, they'll meet their needs. We met here this afternoon with a woman named Ashley Bernal. She lives up near the fire. She packed up to leave, and she talked to us a little bit about the progression of the fire and their effort of her and her family to get out. Let's hear from her.
The first thing when I first saw it, I just thought, this is just a little fire. It's a little brush fire. It's not going to do anything. They're going to get it taken care of. By the time that I got back home and saw the flames on the mountain, I started panicking. And my partner, he's being really calm about it, and I'm freaking out. Okay, we gotta go get this, we gotta go get that. And so I'm a little worried at this point. I'm trying to remain calm. I have a 2-year-old and a 15-year-old, and so we're just trying to keep it together.
I just talked to Ashley again a few minutes ago. She's getting ready to move to the other shelter and meet her family there, so she is under control at this point. I can tell you just in the last couple of minutes, many people have come out and gotten into their cars and starting to move to the shelter where they will be able to spend the night tonight. Live in Loveland, Kevin Vaughn, 9 News.